But in the meantime, since I was asked to say a few words about Waldorf education in North America, I want to bring the threads to the United States as well, and just recognize that when I then went to another Waldorf school, this time in Garden City, known to many of you also here, back in the 1950s, by my count, by that time there were 7 Waldorf schools in the United States, none yet in Canada and Mexico. 7 Waldorf schools, 5 on the East Coast, 2 on the West Coast. And of those 7, 3 had high schools. If I now look at the picture today, then in North America, I can now include Canada and Mexico. I can say there are now around 200 Waldorf schools in North America, of which 40 have high schools as of this year, including, of course, a new high school starting across the mountain in Keene, New Hampshire. So, with Lisa Marr as the administrator representing that new school. Worldwide now, we've gone over the number 1,000 Waldorf schools, and as you may know, these schools exist now on every single continent, exception Antarctica, and in every time zone, except one time zone in the Pacific where there's no land. This means that for most of the school year, you can imagine that with every passage of the hour, with the one exception I mentioned, with every passage of the hour, there's a group of children somewhere in the world saying, I look into the world in which the sun is shining, in which the stars are sparkling, in which the stones repose. Waldorf education, in other words, is now truly a worldwide movement. And not just worldwide, but also focused, you might say, wherever there is trouble or strife. Last year I had occasion to go to Egypt, before what was happening now, luckily, and was able to visit then a very modest Waldorf school in Egypt, outside Cairo, especially modest since it's not even called a Waldorf school, not allowed to be called a Waldorf school, on the grounds of a very interesting plant growing cotton called Sechem. But there in Egypt, across the Sinai in Israel, there are Waldorf schools. At the fault line between what used to be the warring factions of Inkatha and ANC in South Africa, so the 2 black groups that were fighting each other before the end of apartheid in South Africa, there was at that frontier a Waldorf school, in Kanyese Waldorf School. And it was famous because it was the only place that was safe for children from both sides to come and be in a school. At the frontier of Northern Ireland and the Irish Republic, Waldorf schools in both. You can go around the world, in Yugoslavia, you can go around the world, and wherever there are places of strife, you find Waldorf school at the fault line of those divisions. In that sense, we are around the world.